Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's info session with the Rockefeller Foundation about their summer 2024 summer associate positions. My name is Samantha Bruno. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Career Services at the Mark School of Public and International Affairs at Baruch College. This session has been opened up to other Baruch graduate programs and graduate programs across CUNY. So if quickly in the chat, if you can tell us like what grad school you're coming from, what degree program you're in, and that'll help our hosts also see the variety of programs that we have represented here today. I also want to remind attendees that today's session is for the summer associate programs that are catered towards master's and PhD level students. For anyone who's an undergrad here today, feel free to use this session as an opportunity to learn about what positions might be available to you if you are considering grad programs in the future, but we will not really be touching on undergraduate programs today. If you have any questions that come up during the session that you just need to get out into the chat, just type them in, and I'm happy to pass them on to our hosts as we get closer to the Q&A session. So with that, all that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Amy Harwood and Sam Liu to take us away.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amy Harwood, and I'm an HR manager here at the Rockefeller Foundation. I'm going to keep this very informal today, and I will provide kind of a very general overview of the Rockefeller Foundation and some of the work that we do, and then, of course, talk a little bit about our internship program. And I'm very excited to be joined today by Sam Liu, and I will let her introduce herself later. But she has been working with me as an intern for a while now, and can share a lot of personal experience being an intern, but she also has helped me to develop the program, so has kind of insight from both sides. So just a little bit of background about myself. I've been with the foundation for a little bit over 5 years now, which is hard to believe. Time has gone very fast. And I'm very lucky to have been able to develop this program at the foundation. So in 2019, we started the program with 6 graduate students, and last summer, 2023, we had 27 students with us. So it has grown quite significantly, and it's a very robust, meaningful learning experience. And it's very exciting to work at an organization that has, all of the staff from the very senior leaders throughout the organization, just like, fully embrace this program. Everybody is very excited about the program. And everybody, is very supportive of the work that we do, the students that we bring in, and in supporting those efforts. So that has all been wonderful and creates a really, robust learning, meaningful work experience for the students that we bring in. I'll talk a little bit about the background and the work of the foundation, but I won't go into too much detail because there is a lot of information available to you, on our website. We have, we're kind of constantly in the news. There's media press releases, there's blog posts. So there's a lot of information for you depending on your area of interest. But I will just say that, we have been a foundation for over 100 years. Our mission is to promote the well-being of humanity throughout the world. We are supporting, vulnerable communities throughout the world, and we have kind of 6 main areas of focus. We're focused on power, health, food, economic equity, innovation, and innovative finance. And something that has transpired over the course of the last, I'd say, 18 months to 2 years is we have really started to focus on the climate crisis as well. And this work is infused throughout our entire foundation and all of the work that we do. So all of our teams have been tasked with kind of redeveloping our strategies to address how we can do this. So you'll see that, and if you read some of the information on our website and press releases and work that we're currently doing, climate is infused in everything because it really does. It impacts all of the work that we do. It impacts, it certainly impacts health. It impacts the food systems, all of that. So that's something that's really important about our current strategy and the work that we're doing. Um, and I should say that all of our work too, all of our teams focus on global work. The only team that is really domestically focused, solely domestically focused, is our economic equity team. And then something I always like to address too, I think people have varying levels of background knowledge on kind of what it means to be a foundation. There's different types of nonprofit organizations, but as a foundation, we have kind of a certain scope of work that we really focus on. Certainly, a large part of what we do is funding grantees. So we are, a catalyst for, financial development with many different grantees. We also develop and execute on a lot of initiatives across our work that lead to large scale change. We develop strategic partnerships with a lot of different different organizations, private companies, other foundations, government entities, and we really believe that by developing these strategic partnerships, that's one of the ways that we can really make large scale transformative change, bringing many people together. In that same, thought process, one of the things that the foundation does is convening thought leaders. We have convening space in New York, but we also have a center, Bellagio Center, that's in Italy, that is really, its sole purpose is to bring together thought leaders from all various aspects to make decisions, to be creative, to be innovative on how, different ideas on how we can really, keep moving forward with bold transformative change throughout the world with our initiatives. Some of you may, if you're tracking our information, may have seen that our president, Dr. Rajiv Shah, just published a book called Big Bets. And that book actually really addresses kind of how you can go about leading, large transformative change to help solve the world's problems. He's really trying to inspire, in people in general, youth, to really, be a part of this. So that's something that we've kind of all been, exposed to and excited about in this past year. I'll talk a little bit about, kind of our people, our culture. We are, everybody at the foundation is, incredibly mission driven, very smart, very focused on, the critical work that we're doing. It's a very collaborative culture. A lot of our teams, the work of our teams really kind of intermesh. So we do, we collaborate quite a lot. And work together on various projects. The culture is it's transparent. Excuse me. It's rather non-hierarchical in our approach, in that certainly there is a hierarchy for decision making and things like that, but really it's inclusive, and everybody's voice is meant to be heard. And who knows where the next great idea is going to come from, whether it's the president of our organization or whether it's a summer associate. We encourage diverse perspectives. We embrace diversity and people's backgrounds. Everybody kind of comes in with a different perspective on things, and that's how you innovate. Right. And that's one of the things that's really embraced very considerably with this program, is that, the work that we're doing is hard. People are faced with, working with communities, working with peoples, the most vulnerable communities across the world. And it's, it's very difficult. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it's hard to stay optimistic when you're faced with that all of the time. And hope and optimism is something that we do try to embrace. And this program, each June when we welcome 20 or 25 or however many summer associates we're going to welcome, is, we feel like we're infusing infusing the foundation with kind of this really optimistic, fresh perspective on all of our work. And that's one of the things that everybody really embraces and loves about this program. We are really looking for students that are excited, passionate about our mission, excited to kind of dive right into the work. We do provide interns the opportunity to really take on very meaningful work. And I am using the words interns and summer associates interchangeably, and I apologize for that because we do distinguish at the firm when we hire interns or undergraduates, and summer associates are graduate students. Sometimes I do use those words interchangeably, but I'll try to focus on, I'll try to say students. But they are really, brought into the foundation as, treated as full-time staff members and given very meaningful work. And Sam's going to talk a little bit more about that, so I won't get into that too much. But I do want to touch on a couple elements of the program before I turn it over to Sam. The program is a 10 to 12 week program. We do offer the program to be hybrid or full remote. Our full-time work in New York, the staff is in the office on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and generally remote on Mondays and Fridays. So interns or summer associates can certainly work on that schedule if you're in the New York City area. We understand that sometimes, I understand I'm talking to a population that's here in New York. So this may not be relevant, but in case you are planning on being somewhere else in the United States for the summer, I just want to let you know that we do offer the program to be remote as well, because we understand that, relocating to New York City for a short period of time can be very cost prohibitive, and we don't want to hinder anybody's opportunity to work with us because of that. So, and we do have full-time staff members that are remote. We also have offices in other areas of the United States and across the world. So we operate on a, full Zoom environment all the time. So I do think, this past summer we had a majority of our students in the office for the hybrid schedule, and it was quite wonderful. And Sam will talk a little bit more about that. But it is a wonderful opportunity if possible. Our program is comprised of, you're hired into a position, so your focus of work is going to be on that position. But we do, I do encourage students to talk to their managers about, if they have any other areas of interest or other areas that they'd like to be exposed to. Managers are very open and willing to kind of provide those opportunities, and that adds to, of course, the learning experience. We have a learning program set up in addition to the day-to-day work. So there are opportunities to, we want you to become well-rounded and exposed to all of the areas of work that we have at the foundation. So for example, if you are coming into the foundation and you're going to be working with the innovation team, you will be, you'll become quite familiar with all of their scope of work, but you may not always work with, the power team or the health team. So we want you to understand that work as well. So each team will provide a learning session for the summer associates so that you can understand our full scope of work. You can meet other colleagues, and you can always reach out to them for more information. We have sessions with some senior leaders also, so you get exposure to some of our higher level executives and can talk more higher level strategy and about our culture development. And we encourage you to network as much as possible. And whether that's kind of grabbing lunch with people if you're in the office, or if that's scheduling coffee chats with people from the program, or, from throughout the foundation. I think Sam will talk a little bit more about that too, but we really, everyone is very open to that, and that's how you're really going to build up your professional network and really get a full experience beyond your day-to-day work. um I will say, I know Samantha touched on this at the beginning. Our program is primarily graduate students. Last year we had 27 students with us and 3 undergraduates out of that population, and actually that was a lot at 3. So this year, we have not posted all of our positions yet. I think we have 16 positions posted. There's still a few more to go. All of the positions that are currently posted are for graduate students. We may have 1 or 2 that are available for undergraduates at some posted soon. So if you are an undergraduate, I think largely take in this information for future. However, I would keep an eye on the postings. There may be a couple coming within the next week or 2 that are available to undergraduates. And I think I probably could talk more, but I'd love to turn it over to Sam, and she's going to talk a little bit, more about the program and her experience as an intern with us, and then we'll be able to, open it up for Q&A. So, Sam, take it away.
Thanks, Amy. So, like Amy just said, my name is Sam. I'm currently an intern on the HR team. And just to make the differentiation even clearer, like I'm an intern because I'm in the undergrad program. And then, of course, when I mention like summer associates, that's for the master's or graduate students. But before I get into describing our summer internship, I'd love to introduce myself first. So I'm currently an undergraduate senior at Baruch College, where I'm about to start my final semester. And I'm also the HR team for the Rockefeller Foundation. I've been here since I was a sophomore, and so that's close to 2 years now, but this whole entire experience has been nothing short of transformative. But now that you know a little bit of who I am, I'll start my section by playing a short recap video of the 2023 Summer Interns and Associates, because obviously who better to talk about the experience of the internship better than the interns and associates themselves. So I think the video plays a little bit loud, so I'll give you all of you like a little time to adjust your volume settings to maybe put it on the lower end, because I think it starts playing out pretty loud. But other than that, I'll get started. Okay.
Oh, what is this? Oh, that's so cool. Hold on, wait.
When the solar panel was pulled out, I was really excited because my background's in climate, and I feel like that facing the climate crisis is kind of our generation's greatest challenge and something I've always been really passionate about.
It's like Lego, basically.
It's a plant! I think it's real. It's a real plant.
Oh.
Beans! Oh, I love, this is like my job. This is quite literally what I do. Beans are pretty much like cross-culturally super relevant, super great for people and planet. I'm a bean fangirl, I would say.
So now there's this new movement that's trying to restore kind of the more holistic way of growing food on land.
Well, I'm writing a report on this. We're looking at underutilized beans and legumes and how they can sort of improve human and planetary health and climate resilience.
At RF, our organizational development and learning team is very embedded in a lot of different places, and it's really the first place I've worked where I see kind of the roots of like a culture of learning, so to speak, in like a lot of different places, and our team really branches out to support a lot of other teams.
Can I see the plant? I saw a backpack on the table, but can you see that? Just looking at the many branches and different components of the plant, it reminds me of the work that we're doing with multiple pathways to building a more inclusive economic system.
For me, RF, New Frontiers, is a lot like blocks. Like they're all building blocks. You have to sort of figure out how to put them together, and there's no way of doing it all by yourself.
One of my jobs right now is to look at the data behind
like sustainability, the energy crisis, breaking down that data so it's something digestible.
Yeah, using data science and using the tools within data science helps give a broader breadth of like the nuances.
So it's really cool to see how much like climate has evolved within the foundation itself.
It's really interesting to be working at a place that thinks so intentionally about expanding energy access in a way that's affordable, that's sustainable, and that is equitable.
What I find really interesting and like cool about the foundation, what I'll walk away with, is kind of the intersectionality of all the issues that we're working on here. Like food impacts health, and health and food together impact climate, and it all comes together.
So the most interesting thing for me has been coming to the office every day and tackling different challenges. When you get a challenge, you work on it, you get better daily.
We're all coming to work every day and collaborating, but also, contributing to something so much greater than all of ourselves. And I think that was the one thing that kind of hit me every day. Working with a mission-driven organization like this, you can't wake up without feeling that type of purpose.
And yeah, that's just a little short 3-minute preview into what the summer internship or summer associate program looks like. And I really love this video because in 3 minutes that it really showed the dynamics of the hybrid internship. So as you saw, there were some remote aspects, but for the most part, a lot of us were in the office in this room that really looked like a telecast station. It was so nice to just go into there and collaborate all as one. And as you can tell, we all are in different work areas and different expertises, but we all are combined by our one passion and one mission-driven statement of making the world a better place. And it also shows the breadth of impact that the summer associates have across the foundation. But to go deeper into the actual work that the interns and summer associates did, I would say that we really had the ability to leave impact on every level of the foundation, even up to high-level strategy. Some of the summer associates actually hosted all staff events. And by all staff, this is our staff in Nairobi, in the Asia regional office. So it's maybe sometimes like up to 300 people in the event. But these were events such as an overview of the president's office here in New York City and an overview of our yearly grantee perception survey, where the summer associate actually did most of the survey analysis and was then able to create an all staff event to go over that and suggest improvements as well. Some other projects that the summer associates did included writing press speeches for our president, and also publishing press releases on our own website. But overall, this is really just scratching the surface of the work that the summer associates did for the foundation. But I know that with the 2 years that I've been here, every single time when people looked over the internship, the full-time staff always said that the internship program brought a breath of fresh air for innovation for the foundation. So once you come to the foundation through this internship program, there's always avenues for innovation. And like Amy said, you really have the power to kind of dictate what you do on your team, because you can always say, I'm really interested in this project. And I know that the managers will always help to kind of cater your internship towards what you want to do in the future as well. And now I want to talk about my favorite part of the internship. So like I said, I was the intern in my sophomore year summer as well as my junior year summer. And the main difference was definitely the in-person aspect. So my sophomore year summer, I spent it mostly online. I was still super connected to the other associates. But of course, an online environment is very different from an in-person environment. And I will say that the in-person environment and culture of RF is unbelievable. It's so amazing and refreshing. So I'll start off with my favorite part. The beautiful office space is definitely that was like keeping me going to the office. You can actually see a little glimpse of what the internal office space looks like. I know that we released something on LinkedIn for National Intern Day. It was a short video, but it really got you to see all different aspects of the office space. And the thing that I liked most about it was that it offered for close collaboration with other summer associates. So for example, this is a short story, but a summer associate was tasked with creating an equity and economic opportunity tax policy video to amplify the team's tax equity work. And I remember she was sitting right next to me, but she just kept saying she had no idea where to start because she's never really had any experience with video editing. So during the midday, we were able to get up from our desks, go to like a co-working space. And I remember one of the digital media summer associates walking by, and she started to pick her brain about everything video related. And I remember by the end of the work session, the digital media summer associate actually agreed and said she'd love to help with the video. So I think the video is going to be posted soon, but that's just one of the many different instances of the type of collaboration that happens in person within the office. Also, because the office is located directly in the heart of Midtown, food prices are astronomical. So the one thing that I also loved about the office was we have our own little cafe. And with one of our scopes of work being in food insecurity and regenerative agriculture, it was so great to see that the foundation was actually putting its money where its mouth is. And we actually had access to subsidized lunches. So my lunches were maybe around like $6 to $8. And it was really like delicious and health conscious food. There's always a lot of vegetables. And it really showed how not only is RF like trying to help the world by, you know, attending to all these different scopes of work, but they're also encouraging their employees to do the same. And then finally, I'll also talk about the large coffee chat culture. Every single time that I walked around the office, the summer associates were always talking with somebody new. I remember seeing one of the summer associates actually talking to head VP of health. And in the end of year survey, she actually said that she talked to a VP on the team to potentially partner with RF on its upcoming AI strategy as part of her master's program capstone project. So I would describe the culture as very flat. There are always different avenues for you to go up to anybody that you would like to talk to, pick their brain about anything, and then keep moving on from there. That was one of the best parts of the internship itself. And I know that I've talked mostly about the in-person benefits, but I will also say that there is a large interactive part for the remote parts as well. So if you're unable to be housed in New York City during the time of the internship, that's no problem at all, because we actually have a learning program session that directly tries to integrate the online people with the in-person ones as well. So Amy mentioned this briefly, but we actually have a lot of these different learning programs, and they're held in a hybrid setting so that not only the people in the office can attend, but also the people who are remote can attend as well. And these were events ranging from resume review, career advice, negotiating salary, all the way up to meeting the heads of different teams, such as the chief operating officer. So these were really different areas where us as both remote and hybrid students could all come together and meet as one. But aside from that, that was basically just a short introduction or overview of the internship program itself. Again, I've been here for 2 years, so I'd love to talk about anything program related, but one of the biggest points of reflection that we all get at the end of the summer internship program is that this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity that they're all appreciative of. And I would love for each and every one of you to experience that as well. So Amy, if you have any further things to say.
Thank you, Sam. That was great. I'm so glad to hear you've had a wonderful experience with us. I'd love to turn it over to Q&A. I wanted to touch on a couple like sort of, more process oriented things, because I think I'm usually asked these questions a lot. So just to lead off the Q&A, I will say a couple things. Our recruitment process is, we don't have a deadline for applying, but we have about 16 jobs posted at the moment, and we're going to add several more. I do phone screen all of the candidates for this program, so we kind of attack each job on a rolling basis. So as jobs are fill, we'll take those postings down. So if you're interested in something, I would take a look at our careers website and apply. if I get asked often, can you apply to more than one position? Yes, there is some significant overlap in much of the work that we do. But what I would say to that is I would be very thoughtful and intentional. What I don't like to see is that somebody applying to, 10 jobs or all of our jobs, because that doesn't make sense. There has to be a little bit more focus than that. So, and I do very much look at, we ask people on our application, why do you want to work for a mission-driven organization? We do pay attention to those answers, because that drive and that passion is important to us. And we also do require cover letters, and we do really pay attention to the content of those cover letters and what is important to you about working at a place like the Rockefeller Foundation. I will say also, we're open to many different types of backgrounds, different majors, different areas of study, different work experiences. You don't have to, there's no right cookie cutter person for us. We like diversity. We like, people that are transitioning careers. What really matters is how you are expressing your, first of all, your desire to work for us, but how you're also discussing your relatable skills, how what you've done, whether it's your academic background or your work experience, how does that relate to how that's going to help you with your work at the foundation. So, and how are you making that connection? Those are, that's really what's important. Once you apply, we are reviewing resumes kind of on a constant basis. If you are selected for a phone screen, you'll receive an email from me directly to set up a phone screen. Once we do phone screens for a position, excuse me, we then move towards, I will cultivate a short list of candidates that will move on to interviews with the team. Those will be Zoom interviews. And generally, you're meeting with like 3 to 5 people from the team. It varies from team to team, but we try to organize those interviews in a condensed time frame so that you can have the interviews, you can meet with the team, and then a decision's made. There are some situations, so we do try to move the process along. There are some situations that get delayed. We have, our staff travels a lot there, so sometimes there are delays, and I apologize for that in advance. We also do have situations where students will interview with a team and they'll come back and we'll have a discussion and we'll say, we think this student is a great, has a great background, is a great fit for the foundation, but I think that they would be better suited for this team. And then I'll have that conversation with the student and say, look, we like you very much. You have great skills for us, but would you be interested in, talking to this team instead? So then, we have that dialogue as well. We do hire international students, but you have to be able to secure work authorization from your university. We don't sponsor for an internship. I'm trying to think of other questions that I get sometimes. I feel like there was something else I wanted to touch on, but it escapes me now. So I think maybe we'll open it up for questions. I'm happy to answer questions. Sam's happy to answer questions. So Samantha, what's the best way to do this?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Amy and Sam, for all the information so far. I think that video was great. It was wonderful to see everyone kind of interact with the different projects. If anyone has any questions, feel free to use the raise hand function. If you're unable to speak where you're at, just type it in the chat and I'm happy to read it off. Amy, just really quickly, kind of going off of one of the things you just mentioned about kind of readjusting to different teams as you get applications. Let's say if there's an applicant who's interested in multiple positions, do you recommend that they apply to multiple positions or or just choose the one that that they're the most interested in, and then hopefully open up that dialogue at the time where that's presented?
Yeah, I mean, I think either is fine. I mean, I do get it's fine for students to apply to multiple positions as long as it's thoughtful and makes sense. And I do and it does in many cases because there is quite a bit of overlap in some of the positions in the work. It just needs to be, I just don't like to see when a student applies to like 10 positions and it doesn't really make sense. There needs to be a little bit more focus, but I do understand there is overlap. So applying to a couple of different positions is fine. Um, it's good for us to see kind of the areas of interest, but you can also express that in, in your cover letter as well.
Awesome, thank you. I see Amanda you have your hand up, so go ahead.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. I had a question. I heard earlier that you don't accept undergraduate students. I was wondering if I can still be considered as a candidate for an intern position that I'm extremely interested in, even if I just graduated from undergrad, back in May.
So we will consider you if you're going into a graduate program, but not if if you've just graduated and you're not, I'm sorry, and you're not pursuing further education at this time. But if you're if you're going into a graduate program, over the summer or in the fall, yes, we will. Otherwise, no.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
Kunal?
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Amy, Samantha, and Sam, for the lovely presentation and details about the company. I just had a twofold question, one of which is that I see like a lot of, or like most of the students we have today are like CUNY or Baruch students. So I wanted to ask, being a non-CUNY student, is there still consideration given to candidates for these roles?
We will consider a number of different academic backgrounds. I don't know what program you're in, but we hire across many different types of graduate degrees and backgrounds.
Understood. Thank you so much. And then the second part of the question was that if, say, I applied towards the end of December, is there like a time frame as to which I would be able to get a response? I remember you mentioned that you review applications on a rolling basis, but
yeah, the jobs that were posted, there were 4 jobs posted in December, and I will be hopefully reaching out to the students that have been selected for phone screens. I would say at some point next week.
Understood. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you.
Ivana?
Hi, yeah, Ivana. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all the detailed information in the background. My question was, if the program runs from June through August, would it be possible to shift the timeline a little bit to like late June and maybe late August?
That depends, I think, on, generally we try to bring in the cohort I think the start date this year, I think, is June 4th. We do try to bring the cohort in all together. And then that runs through like the middle of August, and some interns do stay on with us part-time. So in that situation, it really would depend on if the team is open to a shifted schedule. So, if we're considering somebody that has a conflict, I would talk to the hiring manager of, for that position. We try to be flexible if possible. We have a lot more flexibility with the end date than, it gets a little bit more complicated with the start date. But it's not, it's kind of a gray area. So I can't give you a definite yes or no. It really would depend on if the team, we have had situations where that has happened for whatever reason. And teams sometimes are flexible and sometimes are not. It really just depends on the team.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I've had a couple questions coming through the chat. I think I'm going to try and combine them because I think they're asking similar things. Does RF accept recent alumni, so students who've graduated just this past December with their graduate degree?
One of the criteria for students is that they have to be enrolled in a graduate program. So either they're, in the middle of the program, or, if they've just graduated from undergrad in May and they're starting in the fall or something of that nature.
Yeah. Okay, great. So just to like reiterate, so if you are enrolled in classes at the time that you are applying, great, you must be enrolled for classes for this fall. So I hope I got a couple questions on that. So you
Yes.
have to be a student, you have to be enrolled, and to be
That was
eligible
what,
for these opportunities.
yes, that was one of the points that I was forgetting to mention. So thank you.
All good, all good. All right. So that seems to be the question so far. I'll wait to see if any more come in. Do you have to be a full-time student in a graduate program?
No.
Okay. So any other questions come in through the chat, or if anyone wants to raise their hand, please feel free. Actually, I'm going to throw a question over to you, Sam. Because everyone is coming in with different viewpoints, and like they're working on different projects when they're starting at RF. What do you find is helpful to connect with other interns? Like, aside from the coffee chats, are you ever really talking about research with each other? Have you had that opportunity to? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I guess one of the best parts about the internship is definitely the cross collaboration between the summer associates and interns, because everybody has such varied scopes of interest and expertise. Talking with everybody just always brought in a new idea. So I know with the beginning of the program, we acknowledge that everybody's coming in with like different levels of knowledge in certain areas. So what we try to do to keep everybody on the same playing level is we try to front load all of our learning program sessions to the beginning. So what happens in these learning programs is we actually invite people from different teams across the foundation, for example, on the power and climate team, on the food team, to come give a short presentation of their work and the information that they can have off after that session as well. So that's one of the ways that we kind of get everybody on the same level. And we also hope that through these meetings in the beginning, we kind of foster like collaboration in the beginning as well, because that's where everybody kind of gets together. There's also many different events across the entire internship program. For example, there's all staff events where people can really get together, have fun, talk with each other. And it's always very encouraged for summer interns and associates to attend these events. So definitely many different areas for collaboration and talk among the interns. And one way we also foster that is we really try to set up the coffee chats within the network and within the broader RF network as well to get these conversations started.
Great, thank you. Okay, so another question came in. Are some interns offered full-time roles post completion of the internship? So I guess the internship to full-time hires, if any.
Yeah, thank you. This was another thing I meant to mention. So I appreciate the question. So I will say that our program probably differs a little bit from other programs. It's not necessarily a pipeline to full-time employment. We do hire, we will, and we have hired our summer associates or summer interns into full-time positions, but it really all depends on, timing and availability. When the program ends in August, we don't have our projected hiring for the following May. Our organization is very, kind of reactive to kind of what's happening in the world. So we're not, we don't project our hiring out that far. So we can't, make those offers. So what we do is we do have a summer program alumni group set up on LinkedIn. We keep in touch with all of our program alumni. We certainly let them know of any opportunities that are become available. And we, like I said, we have hired people in the past. It just really depends on if timing aligns with an appropriate opportunity when you're graduating. And we also, keeping in touch is really important because we do have many program alumni that are working at organizations that we partner with or grantees of ours. So, there's a lot of connections, and it's great to keep that professional network, alive and healthy. But we don't necessarily, in any way, say that this is definitely going to lead to a full-time opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity to learn about our work, to network with our amazing staff, and really, just become familiar with a foundation. And one of our goals is really that we're helping to build, the philanthropic leaders of the future. So whether that's with us or whether that's with another organization or the government or, whatever that may be, that's really one of our goals. And we really do want to keep in touch with you, though, one way or the other.
Great, thank you. And just a follow-up question about full-time hires. So you did mention that students would need sponsorship through the schools in order to do internships. What is that also the same for full-time that RF can't? I guess what is can RF sponsor full-time positions?
Yeah, we do. We do provide work authorization sponsorship if it's the right fit. So it just it depends on the opportunity and the person.
Great. All right. Switching gears a bit, some Deepan had asked, what factors distinguish experienced professionals during the application process?
I just want to make sure I understand the question. What factors distinguish experienced professionals? So
that I think we're getting more into just what qualities are you looking for when you're when you're applying, when you're looking at applications for the associates, what would stand out?
Okay. That's okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I was answering the right question. Well, I think, obviously there's some nuances by position. There may be a certain skill or experience necessary for a certain position, but by and large, kind of across all positions, what we're looking for, and I mentioned a couple things. Certainly, why are you passionate about our mission? Why do you want to work for a mission-driven organization? That's really important to us. All of our staff is really, very passionate about, wanting to try to save the world. So that's one thing. Obviously, on the most basic level, your experience and your kind of your skill set needs to align with the job description. Okay. Beyond that, I'm certainly looking for kind of a demonstration of your ability to, to take initiative. So, various things that you've been involved with and to what level you've been involved with. And also kind of your ability to handle potentially kind of handle change or, pivoting. Our organization is very, well, we like to pivot. I don't, so, that's just what we do. So we're very, we're always kind of in tune with what's happening in the world. For example, when the COVID-19 crisis happened, our work completely shifted to, helping with the crisis. And now, that's shifted, but now part of our work is certainly still dealing with recovery. And now we've pivoted towards, addressing the climate crisis. So you have to be comfortable in an environment that is changing kind of all the time. And some people are, and some people aren't. So I'm kind of always, looking for that. There's probably other things, but those are the things that come top to mind. And Sam, I don't know if there's anything you'd want to add just from, working with all of the summer associates and what qualities you see in them.
Yeah, I definitely want to echo that. One of the biggest things that we definitely look for are an attraction to the mission, because even though we come from all different areas, our one main passion that really brought all of us together was to support the mission of the foundation in making the world a better place, whether that be through food insecurity, climate change, any of our different scopes of work. When we look at, I guess, like the cover letter and the why are you attracted to, or why do you want to work for a mission-driven organization? I think these are really your areas to express why you would like to be a part of the mission and how it tracks you to that. But aside from that, like Amy said, definitely one quality is being able to adapt very quickly. Because I know that during this summer, that was actually when our huge shift to climate happened. So a lot of different teams had to undergo a lot of change, and that meant that the interns and summer associates themselves also had to go through change. So being that a lot of us are in CUNY, we experience a lot of change almost every day. So I think we're all accustomed to that. So in total, just make sure that your cover letter and your short little 100 word answer really caters to why you want to work for them. And also your resume shows that you are really good with change as well.
Sam, can you actually reflect back on when you were applying for your internship? Just tell us a little bit about how did you go about like organizing, like how like you knew you were going to apply, how did you organize your application materials? Is there anything that really stood out to you when you applied? Is there anything you would have done differently?
Yeah, so I'd love to start. So I actually applied to this program through Ladders for Leaders, and Ladders for Leaders is a New York City based pipeline program where they kind of try to connect you with an internship. So Amy was actually advertising the HR internship position on Ladders for Leaders. And what I did was I completely immersed myself in the website, in the LinkedIn, just trying to see exactly what the areas of work the foundation does. I mean, a lot of them align with my own personal passions. I'm a very like eco-conscious person. I love to, try to find ways to minimize my like carbon footprint in areas like that. So that's what I really focused on. I focused on, attaching my personal abilities to the foundation's mission as well. So in terms of writing my cover letter and the reason for why I wanted to join, I just made sure to look at all the different areas that were, or research areas that were on the website. And I know that we just actually launched a LinkedIn Life section that is also a great resource for you all to use. It's on the homepage. If you click on our Rockefeller Foundation link, you can see that there is going to be like home, my company, about, posts, job, and then life. The life section is going to be like a big help because we made sure that it highlights all the best points about the foundation as well. In terms of interview, I made sure to really try to understand why, again, I wanted to work for RF, because I think that's one of the main parts of like the phone screening, making sure that you are passionate about this mission. So that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I could give for the phone screen. Definitely try to cater your experiences to why you want to work for RF. And from there, I was actually interviewed by another CUNY student, so that really helped as well. But I think that also goes to show the diversity of the program as well. Amy is always looking for different ways to integrate CUNY into this amazing New York City-based program. And I really do think that this is such a great opportunity for all of you guys to get your foot into the door. If you're looking to go into something philanthropic, this is really the area to do that. And I can't stress enough, definitely research the company a lot. Find one area of interest that you're mostly interested in and then go from there.
I just want to add real quick too, one of the things that stood out for Sam, but also, that I look for, and I said, somebody that's willing to take initiative, somebody that really is just ready to dive in and not afraid to ask questions, not afraid to go out of their comfort zone. That's how you really get the most out of this experience. So just wanted to add that.
Great. Thank you so much. So if no one else has any questions, I'll still wait for them to come in or wants to raise their hand. We can start kind of wrapping up. Amy and Sam, any final words that we can kind of give our audience today as they're preparing to apply? anything that they should consider, anything not to do, whatever helps. Any final word?
Sam, go ahead for a minute. I need to stop my dogs from barking.
Yeah, I would definitely say get in your applications as soon as possible. We know that it's on a rolling basis. We haven't posted all the positions yet, but for example, for some of the more popular, since I saw that a lot of us are from the financial engineering program at Baruch, you might be more interested in the innovative finance one, which was posted earlier on. So definitely try to get your applications in as soon as possible. We still have a few that are going to be released in, I would say, the next couple of weeks. So also look out for those. I think those are more communications based. So I don't think we released any CPA associate positions yet, but in total, I'm trying to say that we haven't posted all positions yet, but as soon as you see one that you like in the coming weeks, definitely try to apply as soon as possible.
Yes, thank you. I echo that. And just kind of what we said before, I think be very, be very thoughtful about why you'd like to work with us. We want to hear your story and how it relates to our work. And I'm excited to hopefully see lots of you in our application pool. So thank you so much for taking the time to attend and listen to us today, and look forward to getting to know you better.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. If you can all please help me give a hand, and thank you to Sam and Amy for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at future events, and we hope to hear a lot of you apply for the summer associate position. Thank you all.